fine, so that's nice. Um, one of the, I have one player that I'm working with that is playing Division 3 hockey, and he wants to play Division 1. And I don't know if you guys have followed the what's going on with the NCAA. They've just changed to 5 years of eligibility, no redshirting, no nothing, and your clock starts the day you graduate from high school or you turn age 19. Well, most of these junior age kids are, don't leave junior till they're 20 or 21, and each of those years is going to count against their eligibility.
Ouch.
And I don't, apparently they voted yesterday. The NCAA was meeting or down in Florida, I guess. This is all aimed at football and basketball. Um, this is, where you get football players that are 26, you got basketball players that are older because instead of playing junior hockey, they go and play professional basketball for 2 or 3 years and then come back and play college. Unfortunately, it's going to have an impact on hockey,
Yeah.
which the NCAA doesn't care much about because it doesn't generate the kind of revenues that the other sports do. So we're trying to sort all this stuff out. So back in the day, you could walk on at a Division 1 school if you were good enough, you could make the team. But they now have roster limits because of the NIL money, and 300 and some kids went into the transfer portal the first 2 days it opened up. Um, and I looked at a number of those players, and most of them were freshmen and some sophomores that really didn't play. Now, apparently didn't play because they didn't have any stats that were meaningful. So we're sort of dealing with that. And then you remember we had Sean Goodsell, the sports psychologist, on
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah. So we're writing a proposal right now to work with a team in the BCHL. Um, the BCHL's got a unique problem now because they're an independent league, and which means the other leagues can come and snatch up their players for nothing. And they did it to all the teams. They took all their top players out of the Western Hockey League and the USHL. And so that's troubling to some degree. But the theory is fits with, your theories, Wally, is the players leave because or they leave easily because whatever's going on where they are, there's no attachment. And whether the leaving a team in the BCHL and playing in the Western Hockey League is the difference maker for a player, it might be. But going to the USHL, which is a younger league, does this a good promotion? So we're going to try to do we use a player profile. I don't know if I sent Peter. I don't know if I sent you a copy of one or not, but that's a psychological personality profile, and then do that for all the kids, and then come up with a composite for the team and the staff, and figure out how to make the experience a developmental and successful organization that attracts players. Um, we'll see what happens. It's kind of interesting, theoretically. And I'm going to be working on doing video coaching now for about 6 players, female players. A couple of them are playing Division 1 hockey right now, and there's a couple that are headed that way to help them understand the game a little better. So other than that, I'm not, I'm not doing much with hockey. I'm not going to coach this winter either. I think my day-to-day coaching is has come to an end at 75 years old. So
Hey, I'm 80, buddy. Hell, how's life in Minnesota? Is ISIS still there?
well, the ice is out, but it was I don't know 34 degrees this morning, and I was reading that it's good that it's chilly because at this time of the year with the different weather systems coming across, if it's hot, it spawns tornadoes. But if it's not hot, the cool air disrupts those flows, um, and so we don't get tornadoes. So they got the silver lining in the cold weather, and but it's fine. It's sunny and it's nice. And anyways, I was in California about 3 weeks ago visiting my son and seeing his new company, and I'm going to New York City in June for a street photography program. I want to go to and see. So I don't know. Life's pretty good.
Peter, what's up in your world?
Well, yeah, one thing I want to bring up quick with to Hal's point, because I'm a big believer, Wally, on and guys on people belonging. I think we all have to have a sense of belonging. And I think
Mhm.
one of the things that we talked about with the transfer portal in the NCAA is that player could go to three schools in their career, and who are they alum of? Where is that connection? And one thing that I am concerned about is with that rule, Hal, about 18 years old or 19, whichever comes first, graduation or you being 19. What are junior programs going to do now? Right?
Right.
Because they take a hit with this. So now
Mhm.
do we tell Hal, you're 17 now, you're a junior in high school, you're going to be a senior next year, you're going to be 18. We really got to get you at least 2 years worth of junior hockey.
Right.
You can do that and you'll still have 4 years of eligibility, right? Because you get those 5 years. So
Yep.
now your senior year, you're gonna have kids, and I'm not talking about the higher end kids. I'm talking about the
Right.
middle and the lower end kids that are all chasing the dream,
Yep.
that are gonna leave their high schools, go find some junior program somewhere, play for that program,
Yep.
graduate from high school X, who they have absolutely no connection to,
Right.
and they're going to lose that piece of their high school experience. And I think that's incredibly unfortunate and short-sighted, quite honestly, that piece of it. So I want to bring that part up. But as far as how things are going, well, the first thing is, are there any engineers in the group?
Ray
Well,
is, yeah.
Yeah, I am. Okay, I have an engineering question for you. Well, this is right. So I'm working on my motorcycle right now, and I'm just simple thing. I'm changing out foot pegs. And I pull a pin on one side and the brake lever comes out very easily, or excuse me, the foot peg comes out easily, so I can slide in the new one. On the other side where the shift is, you have to remove the entire shift assembly simply because they didn't make one shoulder on the pin flat so that it would clear that assembly, taking out maybe a 16th of an inch of steel so it could just slide out. So I'm gonna have to take the entire shift assembly off on one side just to do that. So I'm venting on that part there. So I got that part out of the way. Uh, so that's part of my day today, Wally. So and then the next thing, hockey wise, still the IHF with Team Puerto Rico. They're going to do a identification camp down in the Philly area in June, which I believe I'm going to be part of. And then the other part is I don't want to jinx it. I'm talking it, but I'm talking some NCAA school, and I might be back in the game on the coaching end of things. So
Oh
time
boy.
will tell.
Courageous man.
Time will tell. Gotta have some conversations, and it's nice to be in a life situation. If there's a benefit to being older and retired, and if you're fortunate as a person, you can choose a situation you go into. And if it's not right, I'm just not going to do it. So it's got to be right on all levels.
Well, Peter, when you retire, you got time to coach. Like a coach who's holding a second job or making a living and trying to fit it in the schedule. I'm finding when you retire, you got all the time in the world.
Well, I will say that's true unless you live next door to your son with two kids and you are the Uber driver for all his hockey practices.
Okay.
But I understand your point. I understand your point.
Disruption.
Yes, yes. So we'll see. We'll see where it all goes. But it's nice to be wanted, right? I mean, I guess that's the end of that story.
Well, that's what I said last year when I took on that role with that JV team, and I should have thought about it a little longer. But it was
Well,
nice to be wanted.
hindsight's 2020. Well, the good thing with this is it would be like in a combination assistant advisory kind of role to the team.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like that kind of pressure. He still wants me on the bench,
Yeah.
helping out with some recruiting and that kind of thing. So it's not going to be like when I was the head coach. Not everything's not going to fall on me. I'm not going to stay up late at night worrying about what I could have done because I've got my responsibilities and I'll fulfill those and we'll see where it goes if it does.
Ray, I've got a question for you about student athletes. You've worked University of Ottawa. We worked with the university male and female teams, and they were student athletes, like there to get an education. And I still think that's somewhat true in Canada. And maybe they're trying to get back to that hell in the States with these new rules, as opposed to it becoming a professional sport in college. Any thoughts on that, Ray, and the change?
Well, one of the things that like all the way through my 20 plus years involved with hockey, football, basketball, soccer, all these elite students, the first word was you're here to get a degree. There was a solid emphasis, and all the coaches were schooled in that because I don't know about the States. I know, well, I shouldn't say that because I've worked with athletes that came back from NCAA to work to play in Ottawa, football and hockey, men and women. But in Canada, the students get academic bursaries rather than sports scholarships. So obviously that means that you have to maintain your marks if you're going to continue playing and being supported in the financial world. Now, as an aside, I created a trust fund 20 plus years ago for top level athletes in women's hockey and men's football. So it's just a little bit of support, but there are a number of other alumni that do that. What's happening, I think, in the States, and I'm going by, like in the past, those athletes that came back from NCAA, there was this general sense that because you were from Canada, uh, priority was given to the American athletes. That was what the athletes felt because like they were not given too much opportunity unless you were like way over top, compared to others.
Well,
Those that came back were tremendously good athletes that made a mark in now what's called youth sports in the university level in Canada. But in the States, they struggled. And I think it's still the case. They go on a scholarship, but they don't feel like they are provided the opportunity to play to the level that they would like, or the amount, the extent that they would like to be.
Ray, I'd like to mention something related to that. Helen Peter, you can certainly chime in on this. My experience with young girls that have gone to NCAA schools is there seems to be a pecking order of seniors playing special teams. And it isn't necessarily based on performance and earning your role. It just seems to be a part of committing to the school and then being loyal to you in the program. And any kids up here that get scholarships, all they do is special teams and extra ice time. When they get down there, they can't handle playing a lesser role to earn a higher role later. And I think that's true in any club. It's a big adaptation, the higher level of play and the expectations of being able to play more situations and earn your time is much more difficult. And I think it's got to do with the word commitment. And I think too many athletes today are entitled and expect things to be given to them and not earned. And I think it starts at a much younger age and it filters upward to the college levels. I'm not so sure in the junior hockey league, that you work with, or any comments on that?
Well, personally, I think the colleges are allowed to have too many players on their roster. And I mean, they're now at 26, but a lot of them are 28. And some of these teams that are starting back up, like Maryville, they can have 30, 32 kids. Well, a lot of the junior teams do the same thing. So you get kids that are really pretty darn good hockey players, and they show, they were the first line, the top kids on their high school teams here in Minnesota or whatever. And all of a sudden they're on fifth line or fourth line, and they don't see a path forward. And they work they work just as hard as all the other kids do. And I was once on a committee over at the University of Minnesota Interscholastic Athletic Advisory Committee, which means it had no power, didn't do anything. But we had a couple athletes on the committee, a football player and a female volleyball player. And their biggest complaint was, number one, we don't have any money and we're not allowed to even have a job. Number two, we're in season, we're scheduled all day long, every day by our sport. They even tell us what classes we can take and what classes we can't take because they're too difficult.
Yeah.
And then the off season, all we do is train, 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 train. And he said, we're exhausted. And so now this was, 15 years ago probably, but I don't think it's much different now.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, University of Minnesota changed head coaches on the men and the women's side, essentially because on the women's side, because they didn't make the Frozen Four, and on the boys side, the men's side, they had a brutal season, but they sent 6 kids to the NHL a year ago, and he didn't replace them effective. He brought in younger players rather than going to the Western Hockey League like other schools do, and that cost him his job, I think. And the new coaches, the message has been pretty clear. The only acceptable outcome is winning the national championship. And Minnesota, 12 of the kids on the roster immediately went in the portal to leave, and they were all freshmen and sophomores. I haven't tracked where they're going. And I don't, on the women's side, well, we have a young woman that played here in our local program, went to Wisconsin and didn't play much. And now she's going to Boston University. And, it used to be, as you said, student athletes. It's now athlete slash student. And I always tell kids, you go D1, you're working for the athletic department. You're on their
Yeah.
payroll.
Yeah.
And they're going to run your life for 4 years.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that's happening, I had a conversation with one of my clients yesterday because, he's a tier 3 kid, and juniors. And I asked him what he was going to do this summer, and he goes, "I'm going backpacking up in the mountains, of the Wyoming mountains, and I'm not going to train anymore." And he said, "I'm going to go back and play third year juniors." And I said, "Well, then what?" He said, "I don't know." I said, he wanted to play Division III hockey, but he says, I'll figure it out later. I said, "How about an ACHA? Why don't you pick the school instead of the school picking you?" And he says, "That sounds like a good idea." I said, "Well, start thinking about where you want to go to school and what you want to study, and then we'll narrow down a list and we'll find you a school to go to where you can also play hockey." So, hi, Sammy.
Hi guys.
How you doing? So
I'm
anyway,
good. I'm really excited that I get to see Wally live and in person. Looking good.
we all are.
Mhm.
So those are my thoughts on that, Wally.
Okay. Well, Sammy, we've been we've been talking about the portal, and it's the same in the female game down in the States. We don't have the portal situation in Canada, I think, or anything like it. They don't jump ship and try to find greener pastures, but it is what it is. And coaching today, you have to learn to deal with it, accept it, and it's a case of being a popularity contest versus coaching honestly, holding people accountable. And it's I just
Do you
appear.
feel like it's kind of gone? I caught just the end of Hal's comments, but do you not feel like minor hockey is kind of like that too now?
Oh,
Like
totally.
triple A and double A, where they're in girls hockey, I'm seeing girls on a different team every single year. Like that just seems bananas to me. Like so difficult to coach, but also difficult for a parent to navigate that are maybe not from the hockey community.
No.
Yeah, it just seems so convoluted, and so we've made it so complicated.
And expensive.
I don't know that we've made it complicated. The system is choose where you want to go, when you want to go, open boundaries. And that's what's happening. And we live with it, and it's something you have to, boy, you walk a
So
fine.
how did you have a solution for NCAA? Like what or do you know how the coaches are coaching? Like is it different? Is it yeah, have you heard?
Really talk to Annie, but
I don't know if they're coaching differently, they're recruiting differently. And, I mean, always at the NCAA level, at the top ends, you're as good as the players in the locker room, right, Tom? And and if you don't do a great job recruiting, you're not gonna be successful. I mean, the young man, and Peter and I have talked about him, that's playing Division III hockey. We had him on the ice last week, working on some skill things like picking up pucks off the rim, coming around the net, opening up, getting a decent shot, sauce passing, stuff like that. And then I went out and had coffee with him afterwards. I said, have you ever in your hockey career, in on your teams, has they ever done any of this stuff? And he said, no. So I honestly don't think at the Division I level that the coaches actually do developmental coaching. They got 28, 25 guys in the locker room and they do system types of stuff. Peter might disagree. But there's not a lot of skill work done. It's really up to the individual player to get that done in the off season on their own, at their own expense.
Yeah, Sammy, what I'll say with that at the Division I level, as far as the coaching piece goes, I mean, the game itself evolves and changes, right? So there are different things strategically that tactically that you've got to do. But it goes from coach to coach. I mean, like to Hal's point, like I know Division I coaches that dedicate at least one day a week where that it's a skill day, and that's the
Yeah.
only thing that they do. Where I'm seeing from them where their issue is coming in, and this is regardless of what level you coach, right? You spend your time, you recruit a player, and they're coming in the following year, especially at the Division I level, they might not be coming in for 2 years. Well, you are essentially, for lack of a better way to put it, babysitting that player for 1 to 2 years to be sure that they know you like them. You give them enough attention so they know that you care. Then you need that attention back so that they care, so that you can finally get them to come in the freshman class. Now, with the portal, you've got a little bit of that, but they're watching the portal too, and they see that you brought in, they're going to come in maybe next year as a freshman, but they see that you brought in 3 sophomores and 2 juniors. Now they're worried about that. So now you're dealing with that. And you're also worried about and dealing with the fact that, hey, I got 3 of my guys in the portal. I got to try to talk to them and try to do some crisis management, so to speak. Also, before all that happens, I have to be having conversations with them about not going into the portal. So the amount of time that they now have to spend on doing things that are hockey related, unfortunately, but shouldn't really be hockey related is incredible to me, as opposed to how things used to be. That seems to be the biggest change and the biggest challenge for these coaches.
But I think I think is, and I don't know if they enacted it, but going forward with the 5 years of eligibility, now you'll be able to play 5 years,
Yeah,
but you
that
have to,
went yesterday they
yesterday,
enacted it. Hmm.
yeah, but you have to stay 2 years at your first school. Now, I don't know if they put that in there, but that was proposed. So you're
I don't
going in
know.
as a freshman and a sophomore, then you can transfer if you want to.
Hmm.
I
That's a great
found
idea.
in my coaching career that the second year I coached a player was much more impactful, relationship wise and development wise, because they knew me and I knew them. And, you know, we could, all I had to do was look at them a certain way. And I got, I got they knew what I was thinking about. I didn't have to bark at them.
Yeah, and that I'm curious if that's in there, Hal, in this wonderful litigious world that we live in.
Yeah,
So here's the scenario. I've got to be there 2 years. I can't go in until my junior year. Well,
right.
School X wanted me in my sophomore year, but I couldn't go. They won the national championship,
Yeah,
which impacted my ability to play on a national championship team and show what I could do in front of the NHL scouts and pro scouts where I wanted to go.
yeah,
So there you go. Like that's that. If that's in, you guaranteed somebody's going to do that.
yeah.
Somebody's going to do that. It's just it's crazy. And Sammy, to your point about kids jumping in different programs, as soon as uh, individuals found that wow, you can really make some money with these youth organizations, it went nuts. In my state, I've never seen so many. They have something called supplemental tryouts. And a supplemental tryout, when you read between the lines, means, oh my God, we don't have enough kids to field our teams. We got to have another tryout. So the amount of like town organizations that are having to do that because people are jumping to all these other
Hmm.
places. Because if I tell you, hey, if I tell you you're going to be a college player for sure. This is what we do here. You come play for us. I mean, you can talk people into anything in our sport if they're not knowledgeable, right? If that individual you're talking about, the non-hockey person whose son or daughter loves the sport, but isn't really well versed in the cultural parts of it, I guess, or social parts of it, however the best way to describe that, that's where the issue is. That's where the problem is.
Opening.
I see that all over the place. I see organizations that last year had a dozen teams that this year
Okay, we're
have
coming up.
5 teams. It's crazy.
I was just looking up the NCAA eligibility rule to see if your addition was in there, Hal, and I don't see it in there.
You don't see it.
Um, it says you have to, your clock starts at 19, and so if you don't start right away, you don't get the extra year. That's really all that it says.
Listen,
So-
everybody, I'm going to drop for a minute. I have healthcare workers coming in to look after me. They're changing some dressings and doing my blood pressure. It's a great healthcare system up here. Doesn't cost me a penny, and I've got free Meals on Wheels for 1 month. Pardon me, okay?
All right, I'll see you soon.
See you,
Wally.
Ray. Come in.
I will have to leave also because I have a commitment with the client in about 15 minutes.
Okay, well, Ray, well, before you leave, tell us what's going on in your world. You probably already did before I
You're
came
a
on.
person that I've been wanting to talk to for a long time. I'll just mention this. I've just published a new book.
Amazing.
For your information, it's my third book.
Wow.
Because this one, Wally just talked to you about, I'm sure, Aim for Life Mastery. Wally is involved in there because I used some of his stuff. And then this is the book on leadership that I wrote with a couple of clients, one a CEO and the other one a professional coach. And this book is about, it's called Pathways to a Breakthrough Transformation. And there's going to be an online course with it. And my daughter, who's a voice artist, we recorded it a month ago in Vancouver. There's going to be an audio book.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm part of a company that's called SJ Performance out of Pittsburgh. And I was telling them this morning, one of the things that's happening is that this book is going to be promoted in coming weeks. I've won an award in New York for it, an excellence award. So what I was going to say is, like I've been doing one-on-one for many years, but I'm looking for an opportunity and a way to spread the message to groups because the results I get, and I've worked with pro athletes and their game has just transformed because I don't teach skills on the ice or on the football field. I help them take mastery of their mental process. And I've seen, well, if I name Henry Burris, do you know the name?
No.
Football quarterback, CFL. But I worked with him, like unbelievable talent. But he was on his way out back in 2004 because he just couldn't get it right in his head. And ultimately, he won 3 Grey Cups in Canada.
So, Ray, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Where do you live?
Ottawa. I'm in
Oh, you're in
Ottawa.
Ottawa?
Yeah.
Okay, you're in Ottawa. And do you know anything about the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers?
Yes.
Okay, and have
I
you
was a
gone?
member. I was a member a few years back.
Okay, and was that helpful? Because I feel like that's how you could get out in front of groups.
I I chose a different path because the group here in Ottawa, uh, for some reason, uh, they emphasized other concepts as opposed to what I was carrying and did not promote
It
me
didn't
type of
fit.
thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, Wally knows me well, and I've worked with university athletes for over 20 years, and I've worked with pro players in hockey and football, of course, and pro coaches. And like I see the benefit of the work I do, and that's where this comes from, is to create a vehicle to share the concepts so that the message spreads out more. One of the things that I'm just thinking right now, because I'm watching the NHL playoffs, and I'm tremendously disappointed with what happened in Ottawa here, because I think that they had a better team than what the result shows. And having been like, I'll give you, I don't know if you remember the Quebec Nordiques.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I worked with them back in the 90s, and of course I know Jacques Martin quite well, and I have experienced teams that underperformed because of, like, I'm going to say something I'm sure all of you here will agree. Like, players win championships and coaches lose championships. Because when you get to that level of intensity and performance, you have to back off and let them. I like to use Wally's expression, let them figure it out. Too much coaching is toxic, and it happens too often with pros. Uh, I go back to 2006 when I was working with Montreal, and something happened in the dressing room that, like, it was foregone conclusion that they were not going to win because of what happened. And it was not the players, it was coaches. And I've seen it over and over again, like in football, Saskatchewan not making it to the Grey Cup because of something happened in the dressing room. I've seen it at the pros, I've seen it at the university level, I've seen it in the minor hockey also, even more so because, like, the players go where the coaches take them. So long-winded answer, but there is a way of optimizing the performance. But it's like we were talking about not too long ago, talking with what's happening in the NCAA, where the coaches are emphasizing performance, but not doing too much to help the players develop that mindset.
And so what would you like to do with your new book? Like what are the goals? Hal, by the way, Hal has a book too that I've read on financial planning, which helped me a lot.
Well, I'm glad you read it because most
I
people haven't.
did. I
They got
did.
it, but they haven't read it.
You read my book yet?
Is it available on Amazon?
Oh yeah,
All right, you don't need to say more.
we'll have
My book's on Amazon also.
s- send me send me your address. I'll send one. I'll send you a copy.
And
Hey, I just want to
the
interrupt.
idea is, aha, yeah,
Everybody's written a book, I
financial
think. Almost.
freedom. Yeah, I got to go back to what I'm a book reviewer for a company out of Carolina, I think, and I often get to review financial books. So I have got to go back. I've got them all. Like what happens is I get the digital version, Kindle. I read them and I make some comments. I got to go back. Maybe I've already read your book.
Well, you'll be one of the few people that have.
No, it's not true, Hal. It's good. It's good. Okay, let's see hockey coaching ABCs.
Yeah, it is.
Where to go,
Tom,
Tom?
can you buy yours on Amazon?
Yeah, but I stopped shipping them. Cost me more money to ship them than I get from Amazon, and they never paid me. So what I did is it just went on Kindle. First of all, Hal redid. I got rid of this picture, and there's a picture Hal did, and it's on Kindle now and online,
Oh.
so you can get it online.
Yeah,
And
that's the way to go.
so that was about 3 months ago that I did that.
Oh,
Because
that's
it's
awesome.
and I'm just selling it for like $10 just to get it out there. Johanny Yuso had such great ideas. He's the smartest hockey man I've ever met. And I just want his ideas to be out there, especially about using games and things like that, because he's just he was a genius.
You're like the
So
curator of the history. That's great.
and it's also practical about efficient use of the ice and how to organize, and then there's a coding system just like in a library. I I have I've written up like 1,700 practice ideas on PDF, and they're all coded. Otherwise, I could never find them. So if I want to work on T3 as or team defensive skills or individual defensive skills, sorry, if I want to find something about angling, I just go to that and I find it boom like that. And I have a lot more to write up because I have 3,000 videos from practice ideas. And Calgary was a perfect place because all the national teams practiced here until that scandal. Now they stay down east. Uh, the different pro teams, and now the Flames won't let you go watch their practices, but up until 2 years ago, could watch their practices, and all the university teams, and then the teams I've coached in my travels and all this. So I don't think anybody else is as crazy as I am to do that, but I started doing the videos. I was coaching the Mount Royal women, and I was also teaching the hockey class at the college. So it was a really good way. That's when the internet just started to get in there. It was 2003 to 8. And so I started to do that so my students could do it. And you so used to always say, now the internet's there, you don't need the organizations. Because how you used to get drills before, you go to a Hockey Canada symposium, and then everybody would give a drill in, and then they would choose the ones that they liked and put it in a booklet and give it to you. And that's how you update it. And then this guy from Victoria had this thing where you set in drills, drill of the week club. And that was another way, but they were just the drills on whatever. But I started to try to watch practices and write things down, but then the coach would blow the whistle and say, "Where did they start?" So I just get the video, and then I figure it out after. So and then for me, I need the video to remember what happened. And all my practice plans have a video for the players to look at. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. And everybody's kind of updating what they're doing. And my big thing right now is I'm going to the Worlds in 2 weeks. Canada is playing in Freeborg. They're not playing in Zurich. So they're in a different group, and the coaching conference is in Zurich. So I'm going with Terry Johnson, used to play for Quebec a little bit, and played for the Flames in '86 when they lost to Montreal in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
And I'm going with him, and then my son's going to Paris, going to stay with my niece, and then come and meet us there with us. He just got married in June. They're going to meet us in Freeborg, stay a few days. I'm only going for 6 days, but anyways, that's that's what I got coming up, and I'm really worried about this new stuff you have to do. They need your fingerprint and your a picture. There's a big delay, and I only have an hour and a half in Frankfurt, and I don't think there's going to be time to get all that stuff done. That's where I transfer out of. But anyways, and
How new is that
then
rule? I just flew through Frankfurt.
yeah, they said that I don't know. Did you have a hard time there?
So I didn't have a hard time, but it is kind of a lengthy middle because you have to kind of take a train from one section to another section.
Well, I'm in the same
So
terminal.
yeah, okay, so that could be really great because I always find Frankfurt just so long, but this time was particularly long. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to do fingerprint. Passport control was pretty quick getting through there. So I think you should be okay.
Yeah, because we were worried about that. We were talking about it last night about that because they're gonna yeah.
That system just started up, that ESS, where it's the biometric scanning for non-EU people. So
Oh, so it
there's
might be
been,
newer than
yeah, it's just been getting implemented. It started in the fall, but it's been starting to get more widely rolled out. And yeah,
I
I've
flew
had
there
friends.
to Milano, so that would have been in February.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
fairly recently.
I think they were either, I don't know what exactly they did there, but because of the Olympics, they were probably either putting it on hold or whatever,
Yeah.
just because of the volume. But several of my friends over there, like, or not over there, but have been coming back and forth, and they've missed flights, and it's just been crazy. And it depends on where you are. So just, I was texting to Tom about that earlier. You just got to plan to have
Be
more
ready. I know,
time
sorry
between
to interrupt, but I
connectors.
know that Ray has to leave to go to a client,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ray, are you coming back or you we'll see you another time.
No, it'll have to be next week if I'm back because I'm gone for the rest of the day.
Well, Ray,
Okay, well, if you have any questions about speaking or books or anything, definitely feel free to reach out. Wally has my email.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Ray,
sounds good.
Ray, we'll have you on as a guest next week and
Okay.
talk about your books, but most your most recent book.
Okay.
Okay, take care. Dean, I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with you, but you and Tom have been probably the most committed to developing yourselves in the game. And Dean, you're doing your thesis, and you almost got it wrapped up. Can you elaborate on where you're at right now and what you've done over the years, but the thesis you're working on now?
Yeah, thanks, Wally. I'm just in my last stages of preparing, but I've got my defense next week, so I've got
Oh, that's
under a
exciting.
week. Oh, it's
That's
exciting,
exciting,
but
but nerve-wracking. Yeah.
it's also well, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, obviously. I did my mock 3 weeks ago, and I'm glad I did one because I thought I was prepared and I wasn't. So, there's a big difference working um, within your own brain and then on the computer and typing than verbally dealing with stuff in the moment. And that was my biggest takeaway. So yeah, so hopefully I can get through that, and then I'll have more amendments and stuff, I'm sure. And it'll still be a few months after that to get all that done. But I'm happy that I'm hoping that it's coming to
Do
a
do
completion.
you know the panel that will be with you? Like you know the people or you just know who
Yeah.
they are?
Well, I know who they are. I don't know them, and they do that deliberately. So my internal examiner is from my school, Cardiff Met, and the external is a Canadian lady, I believe, but she's in Lithuania. So
Mhm.
yeah, so it's early. I just got an email here today trying to get on here. I've got a 6:30 a.m. test tomorrow morning just because of the time zone differences. And then Tuesday next week is the main event, so that'll start about the same time, and I think it'll run about could run 3.5 hours or so.
And do you present on Zoom or you have to go, you're going there?
No, it's on Zoom. I
Oh,
had the choice, but because my externals also, it's costly to fly in, so it just makes way more sense to do it online. So
especially
yeah,
if they're not going to fly in. Like if
yeah,
you would just present to a screen anyways. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not actually presenting. They have a copy of my dissertation, and they had it for the last couple of months, and then they'll just ask questions.
Mm.
There's no presentation. I've presented and done all that stuff in the past, but for this one, it's just you hope it's a conversation and not an inquisition.
Yeah. Oh, good luck.
Thanks.
Listen, everyone, I wanted to, I wrote down a bunch of things about who might be on, what we might talk about, and I'm just glad we can get together to talk some hockey here. But I have one observation. It related to Ray talking about the coach. And like, yeah, coaches can always get better, and they're lifelong learners and willing to adapt. They're going to get better. Those that don't, they're going to find a new place to coach. And it's sort of like the flavor of the month, firing and hiring coaches, and they don't know what to do. Talking with Haley Wickenheiser in Toronto, and her role as an advisor is the most, as Peter will know, an advisor is the best role to have. You sit back, you observe, and she is got her finger in every level of the organization. And there's one word that describes the problem. Coaches are a small part of it, but a part of it. And the word is dysfunctional. A total lack of communication from top to bottom, inside out, relationships with the scouts, managers, consistency and what you're looking for in a player. And there's just a lack of trust and respect. And that's where leadership comes in to organizations. And the wheel just keeps spinning. And I don't care if it's girls hockey Calgary or the Toronto Maple Leafs. You can complain all you want, but I think some people are trying to do it better and better, and it's still a challenge. So that's something I wanted to talk about is with Ray is the leadership idea. He talks with coaches and he's had amazing results with individual athletes and teams that have won championships with his short-term involvement with them. But I just find it's the organization that creates the environment and the culture for success. So, Sammy, in all your experience in female hockey, you got any thoughts related to that?
Well, I mean, I think we all have thoughts related to that. I'll take it outside of women's hockey because I think you lived women's hockey with me. You know what it's like, and it is now starting to really parallel men's hockey. So there's lots of that. But in so I'm doing my executive MBA right now, and we're put into teams. So my first team was a year, and then the second team is second year. The first year, we are given a coach, which is able to mentor the team. Cornell has this outdoor course program that you got to do as a team. So you really got some team building, you got some structure for that first team. We did the whole disc profile. So you were paired together with people that you would conflict with so that you could learn how to deal with team, right? And how to build team in an environment that you're not choosing these people. And so we built a really strong team, and it was just a real pleasure. Like the people you wanted to meet with them, you wanted to see them. We all got to know each other's families. It was really great for that year, and they lived all over North America, and one guy in Germany. Then fast forward, and that team is broken up. Oh, are you going, Hal?
I gotta go. I got a bunch of stuff I've got to get done today. So
You got real life and you didn't like the diatribe I was going on. I got it.
was that Cornell University
Yeah, I'm doing mine at, have you been to that one?
in the States?
Yeah.
No, but I'm actually gonna be working with one of the players from the women's team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
but so
awesome.
maybe you and I can connect a little bit before I do
Also,
that.
just on a side note, my nephew just got into and is going to University of Minnesota. He's going to be a Gopher, but he's just a basketball player, but not like a high
Just a
level basketball
basketball
Just a
player.
player.
basketball
Just,
player.
No,
but he's not
that,
like he's not
yeah.
playing on the team. He's an
Oh, good.
intramural basketball player.
It's a
But
great school.
Manitoba has a program that you pay Manitoba fees to go to University of Minnesota, which is cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we had when I was coaching at Augsburg, we had some Canadian kids that got to pay in
yeah.
subsidized money, so it was great. So,
So it'll
anyways,
mean I'll get to go to Minneapolis more often. So hopefully we'll see you in
we'll have
person.
coffee.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
We'll
Yeah.
get together again. All right,
Okay.
gang.
We'll take
I
care.
gotta run. Have a great
Yeah,
weekend.
Nice
everybody.
jacket, by the way, Hal. I like the trail smoke eaters.
Do
Oh,
you?
the trail smoke eaters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the team I'm hopefully going to be. I've been scouting for them, and now we're
Oh,
going to try
nice.
to do some other stuff to create the kind of culture that we're all talking about.
Super.
So it'll be fun. All right, gang. See you later.
See you later.
Well,
Bye.
you're still welcome to come help at my hockey camp.
Do I have to skate?
Do whatever you want.
All right. We'll talk about that. Okay. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get out of here though. There we go. Leave. All right.
Leave.
Bye-bye.
Exit meeting somewhere.
Exit. Okay, so continuing on my long-winded soapbox, the second team, where I was going with this, the second team was not provided coaching, and the people, the players, were just expected to then know how to move on. Same thing, you're paired with people that you would maybe conflict with. And it has been a real struggle. I think we're only a month into it, but it is, and I feel like my niche is in building teams. So, trying to get people that have different goals and objectives to work together that don't have time to create team that don't have all of that is really difficult. And so, parallel that to hockey, I'm seeing kind of the same thing that coaches, and even from what I hear from you guys, coaches just don't have time with people. Like you're just not all hanging out together as much. There's not that opportunity as much to create time because you have all these other things that you have to get done and you have to answer the parents and you have to do this and you have to do the administration. And so it has been an interesting journey, I guess, into this. And it just, to me, is synonymous with kind of the way the world is now that we're way more on devices and less going for coffee and those kind of things. So anyways, that was my long-winded way of saying it.
We had like building teams, right? So what we started to do, and I used to talk to players individually, the front of the bus, but this year I had 4 meetings with each player and always on road trips because we're at a different rink all the time. There's no time to do it. And all the coaching staff, and then the player could ask questions, and everybody in the coaching staff was open for them to give comments and all that. And I found that was a really good way to do it.
And that's huge. But you also are an experienced coach, and you have the time. And you're willing to put the time into the off ice things too. So you recognize that, which is
but
amazing.
the time was game, and you're on a bus. So instead of just sitting on the bus, we use that time to meet the players. And this year, I think we're going road trips. Like we've gone to Kelowna the last 3 years. We end up there for 4 days or something. I think I want to. I have trouble putting the face of the player with the parent. Like who belongs to who? I know their parents, my kids, but I don't know them all. And that's the next thing I want to do is meet with the player and the parent. I think that'll help, do a better job and let everybody understand. But it's a challenge to communicating, especially when you're it's not like college where you have an office and all this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So
Tom, the bus is the perfect place. Coaching major junior, lasting 1 year, half year. One of the players, Mark Tenorti, he used to come and sit beside me to talk. Like I was a rookie coach, really, first year in the league. I did not communicate well with the players. As a group, I did. It was very positive, but I never got to know them. But Mark, by talking to me and asking questions, picking my brains, and he was a 20-year-old that was talked into coming back because my manager knew he would get an NHL contract and the scholarship, they wouldn't have to pay it for him because he would get an NHL scholarship.
I tried to recruit him at state, but he chose the NHL instead.
Too bad.
I don't know why.
But that's one example, and I know for a fact I didn't last the year because I never got to know my players. I never talked to them one on one, and there was time. I just never did it. It just you get consumed by whatever you're doing, and it's my most important advice is talk to them, and one on one if you can. If you have two coaches with you, fine. I worry about the numbers kind of thing, and the controversy that can occur, but the bus trip conversations, I'm sure, Tom, you were able to have a lot of personal information transpire, but I know the technical information that you passed on in those trips, and having those chalk talks paid off huge for you. So I think it's just all about communication, Sam. You're taking a leadership course and the idea of communication.
Yeah, I forced my team when we were on campus to have lunch together, so that's been helpful. I think with what I struggle with, and um, this is maybe my downfall too, is I want to be friends with everybody. I want to know everybody on a personal level, and I want to the relationships that I build in teams to be lifelong relationships. And that isn't why everybody is comes to the table. So recognizing that, and we can source out other coaches, and mentors. So I've talked to some people about it and recognizing to meet those people where they are too, and that it isn't. Um, you have to you have to suss out kind of what their intentions and what their goals are, and they're not the same as yours always, and so that is also been a really big learning curve for me to attempt to support them in the way that is good for them and not in a way that is necessarily great for me. And that is a way to build team as well. And if somebody, we have meetings every week and we do a little 2 or 3 minute check-in. And if somebody doesn't want to share, that's okay too, that's the way that they're showing up. And it's going to be a different relationship, but it's going to, I read somewhere that sometimes you mourn what was rather than looking to what is. And I think comparing is also difficult. We've all been coaches in situations where you've had like great teams and great situations, great parent groups, and that's the way you want it always to be, but that isn't the way it's always going to be. So, yeah, meeting it where it is as well. Wally, what's been some of the best experiences in team that you've experienced?
Well, my role wasn't as a head coach. As an assistant, I thought the best experience I had was the centralization in 2002. Um, I had to sit back, listen, and speak, share, and just have an open mind to be able to communicate with the coaching staff, particularly Danielle, and it was really quite phenomenal because I think we established a relationship that I never realized. But she came to visit me 3 weeks ago while I was in the hospital before I was admitted. She was on the way to Montreal, overseeing the Victoire, the pro team playing a game, and she dropped in to visit. And the background of experience that she's gotten now by working with the Catabana at the CIS and working with Montreal and mentoring two teams in Olympics, France and Italy. I mean, she's now forgotten more than I'll ever know, not about X's and O's, but the leadership, communication, and she is amazing right now. And I'm lobbying for her to get back involved with Hockey Canada, to take charge and provide a meaningful direction for the sport because she knows what needs to be done. It's just that, Sammy, when we had centralization, it was ideal. You were together for almost a year working with the athletes and a staff, and you could impact physical development, technical development, personal development. But now with the pros, you're just picking them. And you don't have a chance to, it's not really a program, it's relying on the pros, and there's a big difference. But I have to say, of all my experiences, that one was the most significant of all. And I've shared the other story, my first year coaching football voluntarily in a high school that didn't have a coach and not knowing a damn thing. That was a learning experience of all. We never won a game, but our score went from 47-0 to the margin reducing every week, and we improved. All 47 players played, and it was the most rewarding year of all. Nobody quit. And we actually were up on the undefeated team in the final game of the season, and we didn't win. But the satisfaction of working hard and not knowing anything about a sport and teaching, I learned how to coach. And you never stop learning. I think that's what we're here for now, too. You know, you're doing it in your leadership course. And you're wondering, what if, what could I, what should we? And I think we're on the right track. We just keep going the same direction. That's all I can advise. Sammy, you've worked with many different teams, and now your job, you know, your speaking engagements, I'm not sure how many there are you're doing, but your role in the broadcasting business, what would you say is the most satisfying part of what you do?
You sound like my parents. Like, Sammy, what do you really do? What is your real job?
Yeah.
I do work full time as a professional speaker, so I do between 30 and 50 presentations a year on team and on building team. I often got brought in to organizations when they are going through change and change management, which is never easy within a team. So creating team and valuing. So my differentiator is that I really talk about valuing each role and as a person being able to come to terms with the role that you play and how you can play that to the best of your ability. So fast forward, I say I dabble in broadcasting because that kind of just keeps me in the game. It certainly is not a full-time profession for me, but I do love it. But some of the things that I think, the reason that I'm doing this MBA, I think is the same reason Dean is doing his PhD, is just this opportunity for growth and for learning. I mean, it just is, I'm in a valuations class right now, valuing companies against each other. I've never taken finance before, so this is like a whole new world for me. And every single class, I just feel like I'm learning so much more and being able to impact that directly. I don't know. I mean, I've been so part of so many just wonderful teams, but everywhere in life, there's kind of team. But I can say, you guys know my daughter. She's 10. She played hockey for 3 years and then didn't really want to play. It just wasn't her thing. It just really has not gravitated towards team sports. So she does gymnastics and she has gotten into skateboarding and she does rock climbing. She loves to be active, but nothing where there's any kind of level of competition, which is really funny with two Olympic parents. Um, she just wants to be and she just wants to play. And so I think learning through her the importance of play, and that has sort of changed my whole dynamic of how I think about teams and why we show up, and the importance of community in teams. I think is beyond. I mean that's why we all do it, to have a place to go to chat with people and to hang out and to grow and learn, but also meet people from different aspects of life that you wouldn't normally get to meet. So I could talk on and on about so many of the wonderful teams. But my daughter did a program through at her school through the Jays Care Foundation through the Blue Jays that was a learn to play baseball for girls, and then asked if she could play baseball on her own. So she's now joined a team and has all these friends through the team. And it's not about the sport. It just simply is about being with other people that you want to be around. So yeah, I think back to your point, Wally, 2002, what the three of you as coaches were able to create was remarkable, because the three of you were very different people. And that's not easy either, when you have to get beyond, your thoughts and your processes to really understand the other person.
Your egos.
Um, Exactly. That was, incredible to watch from an insider's perspective, that all three of you could have been the head coach of the team. I mean, that was a given. And at that highest level, that probably is the case for most coaches. So coming to grips with your role and how you can support sometimes isn't easy, but you guys did that marvelously. And in the end, we're successful. So, yeah, and what Danielle has gone on to create, I think, is pretty remarkable within the game. That she's almost quietly gone about it outside of the Hockey Canada uh, a construct, recognizing what is needed and just went and built it. Just didn't care what anybody else thought, just went and did it.
Well, you use the word, I use the word constrict.
Not construct.
That's what working for some organizations can be. And I felt not really free to think and share and open-minded, grow and learn in my time there. And I think it's an organization that needs to open up and be much more honest with one another and trust and respect people. It's difficult because overseeing 12 branches, everybody with their own egos and their different systems, it's pretty tough. But my philosophy has been I just respect everybody doing whatever they do at whatever level they're at. And in the volunteer side of the communities, I'm just so impressed with those that give their time and do it for the right reason. And right now, we're just building a culture, trying to build a culture which is value based, which will get outcomes, more desirable outcomes, but focus on the life skills that sports teach you. Because as we can all attribute, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all the things we've learned from all of our sport experiences.
Wally, I have to get going pretty soon because I do have to get back to work. But first of all, you can see that the respect just exudes from you, and you have a curiosity about everyone, which is remarkable. And that is something that I hope that all of us that have had the ability to be around you also learn and take into our own teams and our environments. But I just turned 50. I had my 50th birthday. And the women in my hockey league, so I play 4 times a week because I love it. But one of the recreational leagues that I play on Sunday, I mean, what do you get a 50-year-old, right? So they had a little surprise party for me afterwards. We went upstairs at the rink, and they had asked everybody in the league for a $10 or $20 donation. So not just my team, but in the league, all these women that I don't know, I play against every week, but you don't really know. $10 or $20 donation. They pooled the money together and they raised $1,500 for 5 girls to attend my hockey school. So they gave 5 bursaries to my hockey school. And I thought that that was so incredible that these women that are all, were probably from 30 to 70 within the league, saw value, because a lot of them have been shooters at my goalie school. So I get some of the older women to come out and shoot, unlike the little kids. And so they've seen all of these goalies and recognizing that hockey is so expensive, and it was expensive for them. And then we all end up in recreational hockey anyways. So at the end of the day, they wanted more recreational goalies to be able to make it there. But I thought that that was just an amazing example of team and what simply being showing up and being positive in the environment can do to create some really great things within hockey. So I wanted to share a good hockey story, because sometimes we talk about the negative, but
I
I thought
share a
that was
story.
really amazing. Yes, go ahead, Tom. I love
I'd like to
positive
share a
stories.
story because, uh, at my age, Wally's going through his thing, and then this other guy named Jerry Dufort, and he's probably the most international hockey guy. He played
Mm.
at University of Manitoba. He's a really good hockey player, but he got
How
stage
old is
4
he, Tom?
cancer. He's 75, I think.
Okay, because those might have been the guys that I would have watched, because I watched a lot of Bison games growing up.
Yeah, and he, anyways, what Doof did is he'd go to Europe, and he loves motorcycling. Go to Europe, take his hockey equipment, put his stick there with red tape on it because it has to, for whatever, and drive to different places in Europe, like Barcelona. Walk in and say, "Do you guys have men's hockey?" Say, "Yeah." And you go play with him. He's in Europe. He's been to Ireland, all over the place, Finland. So, anyways, I met him once. I was going to Prague, and I stopped in Barcelona on the way, and I played with the Barcelona guys with him. But 10 years ago, he organized a trip all around Spain. We started Barcelona, went to Pamplona, and for 2 weeks, and my wife and one daughter went with it, and it was just a great. And because he's been to Europe so much, he knows he always had us staying in the old town, so he didn't have to drive anywhere. It's just a fantastic, whatever. So he did that. So, anyways, he got stage 4 bone cancer a few years ago, and he didn't play for a long time. Then last year, he played all year almost. And then he went on a long motorcycle ride all through BC and all this and he came back, and the cancer went to the other side. And now he's really bad, and I don't know if he's gonna make it or not. I was talking to him last night anyways. But anyways, he's a guy that, just loves to play so much. And, he's I've never heard anybody ever doing that before, just going from place to place. And he's a good player, so he fit right in. And so
Tom, have you
Manitoba
read the
boy.
book by Dave Bendini, where he goes around the world playing? Dean's shaking his head no.
No.
Tom, Dean, what's the name of the book?
Tropical Hockey, I think.
Tropic of Hockey. So, Tom, it might be a great is if he's able to read. I'm not sure if he's in that place.
Well, he's okay
Um,
there. He just is
yeah. So it
housebound
might
kind
be
of now.
a great little gift that you could get for him, because it is one of my favorite books. And Dave was a musician, and just went with his bag to random countries around the world and did the same thing. Just walked in and was like, "Do you guys have men's hockey?" And played in Dubai and in China and Japan and random places, Philippines. Forget where else he went, but yeah, it's probably so similar to the life that Duke led that he would probably get a kick out of it. So
Yeah, I'll tell him about that book.
yeah,
There's he's actually got a bunch of the he filmed his own documentary when he went overseas in 99, 2000. And it's, Tom, you can find it on YouTube. And he's broken it up. There was three like 20-minute segments where he was in Mongolia, Romania, and like I think it was Dubai or something like that. And it's really well done. I mean, it's an older you can see it's older video, and he just hired some guy to probably shoot off of an old handheld camera, but it was really good, really interesting. So if I can send you the links on YouTube, and you can send them to your buddy if he just wants something visual.
That'd be good.
Sammy, do you know David very well? Bendini?
Yes, I do. So, do you know him, Wally?
No, I don't. I've read his book. Intriguing. And I'm thinking, if you can arrange him to come on as a guest,
Oh, he would love it. He loves chatting. Oh my gosh, he would love it so much.
we talk about
He,
Yes, please,
yeah,
Sammy, because
he's
you sent me his email. I wanted to connect with him, but I was kind of waiting until I got through this defense. But man, yeah, that'd be great.
okay. I would just need to give him a little bit of lead up time. So let me. I'm just gonna go to my calendar right now, Wally, and see if there's. And I would want to be on. Like if we did it in like June,
okay.
like June 11th, maybe. Okay, I'll ask him. Never know with Dave because he's all over the place, but he is certainly a talker and a communicator and just loves chatting hockey. He's just turned himself into a goalie in adult rec, so that's his next book. Is he's going to be writing about being an adult rec goalie. And when I was on my way down to Cornell for the first time, he's also good friends with Ken Dryden, who I had met through different ways. And Tammy Shuchuk's obviously married Ken's son, so there's that connection. And Ken had just passed away, and so we chatted for a long time about him and what he meant to the game. And anyway, so Dave would get just a kick out of this. Yeah. So why don't I ask him for June 11th? Okay.
All right.
We'll see.
My calendar.
Okay. And then if we can get him on, we can share it with sort of in advance so that people can make some time.
Yeah, we can promote it a bit. Get a little.
Maybe I get Jerry on at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Compare notes.
Yeah, exactly. They probably have so many similar situations that they've been in or found themselves in, carrying a random bag. I mean, Dave didn't have a motorcycle, but he was often walking through shopping centers or train stations with this bag.
My international thing is 7 different countries, and most of them nobody spoke English. So I had to coach using the international symbols and one word, and so that was all through the 90s. I did a lot of that kind of stuff. So
well, isn't that your experience too, Dean? Coaching in random places? Isn't that what your thesis is on?
Yeah, the wandering whistles, the autoethnographic nomadic or international odyssey of a nomadic ice hockey coach. Yeah. I think I've coached in 20 some, but I've been to 45, not just for coaching, but playing and leadership and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Amazing. Okay, well, guys, I have to go, but we'll hopefully see you again next week. Wally, I'm so glad that you're feeling much better, and can't wait to make this a more regular thing. So
Thanks very much, Sammy. Take care.
take care.
See you,
Thank you.
Sammy.
Well,
Where does
boys,
Sammy live now?
What's that?
Where does she live now?
Isn't she Toronto area, like Oakville or something?
I know it's not Winnipeg anymore.
Oh, actually, Tom, maybe.
Is
I
it?
thought she was Ontario though, but maybe not.
well,
Maybe.
her family home was in Winnipeg. She
Yeah.
runs hockey schools there. But I think her and her husband and family live in Toronto. So,
Okay.
I'm
but
just gonna
anyway,
check.
guys, next week, cadence. Dino,
Yeah, geez, that would be good because the pressure should be off.
okay, we'll look forward to that. And
What time, Wally?
well, I'd like to start about 9 o'clock, 9:30.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
get
that
there
works perfect.
not
We
too
usually
early.
start at 8:30.
No, but at cadence.
Oh, at Cadence, yeah. Cadence 9:30, then you're not in the middle of
Yeah, 9:30
the
is
rush
better
hour.
because you're driving quite a ways and Wally.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, it's good to be here and
Oh, yeah, awesome, man.
awesome to do this again. Thanks for all the visits to the hospital.
Oh, my pleasure. And I know Tom was there, Rex, you had a ton of people. And John, I told John about this morning, but he was coaching, but he said to say hello.
Yeah.
And he might come to Cadence next week too, Wally. So what was the top? What was I came in late because I was busy there. What was the title of Ray's book that you guys were talking about?
I'm not sure what the new one is.
But it's about team and culture or what?
Yes. His
Okay.
first book, AIM, AI with two dots above it, M, is about leadership.
Okay.
It's the very first book, and uh, he's written two more, and the latest one, he just takes it to another level, simpler language, communicates really well, kind of thing. And my experience over my lifetime with him at the University of Ottawa led to many, many things. I got to work with the men's football team at the University of Ottawa, where he was mentoring them behaviorally, and I think they won a national championship that year. And he worked closely with Henry Burris when he was playing in Saskatchewan, and he's got a great track record with performance results. And an engineer who's like all of us, just pursuing his passion. So, well, guys, I've got to run, and
Yeah,
I'm going up to watch hockey today. And
good
Tom,
man.
the schedule on Saturday. Uh, I've got it here. The games. The Saturday game is 12:45. Saturday is the game. Green versus Gray, both South teams.
Well, that's easy. Then that'll be light out.
No, it's daytime. Saturday,
Yeah, yeah,
12:45. If you're interested.
yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a dingle.
All right, we can drive up there and get back.
Okay, take care.
Okay, guys. Cheers. Thanks, Wally. Take care, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, Dean, do you have to feed all those cows behind you?
No, but they're sure friendly. It's out at the farm, so all right, we'll see you guys.
Start throwing bales of hay out there.